It is our privilege and our responsibility to light a candle in the darkness and to nurture a song in the night. My name is David Woodall with the United Church of Canada and the Emsdale Pastoral Charge. We are the people of hope. We are invited to live hope-filled and happy lives. The fruit of the Spirit, the Bible tells us, is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, generosity, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control, and against such there is no law. You see, we were created to be happy people. To be unhappy, by the way, takes an awful lot of energy, not only for the person who is unhappy, but for all the people with whom they have contact. We have met these unhappy people from time to time, and they don't bring joy to our lives. There is a sense that an unhappy person is a person who's falling apart on the inside and on the outside. God invites us to not blindly ignore the things that tear us apart. We have to deal with them, but we don't have to dwell on them. They can be our next door neighbors, but they don't have to live in our homes. God invites us to have as the bigger goal of our lives to live hope-filled and happy lives. The head of a trucking firm said that in tracing the cause of accidents, he almost invariably ran into an unhappy home situation on the part of the truck driver. And we know that if things are not well at home, it's hard to bring everything we could to everything else that we're doing. Happiness is not a luxury in life. Happiness is important to who we are. Two daughters lived with the same family problem. One reacted badly to it, was full of conflicts, wouldn't let anyone speak about her parents to her. It finally became too much for her and she mentally broke down. The other daughter met the same situation with a completely different outlook, and her life went well. She became the matron of a school. She was loved and honored. She was happy. In Philippians, Paul writes that we can choose where we let our minds dwell, and that where we let our minds dwell is where we will live. He concludes that section with one of the most remarkable pieces of wisdom that I've ever heard. He said this, "Finally, beloved, whatever is true, whatever is honorable, whatever is just, whatever is pure, whatever is pleasing, whatever is commendable, if there is any excellence and if there's anything worthy of praise, think about these things. Keep on doing the things that you have learned and received and heard and seen in me, and the God of peace will be with you." A woman lost her husband. Every day when she went into the backyard, it seemed that the birds were singing, "Poor Helen, poor Helen, poor Helen." She attended a vesper service at the side of a large pond one evening. A deep-throated bullfrog kept punctuating the speaker's message with a croak that seemed to her to say, "So what? So what? So what?" At the closing meeting, she stood up and said this, "I've been listening to the birds saying, 'Poor Helen.' Now I am through listening to him. I'm going to listen to the bullfrog saying, 'So what?' I am through with gloom. I am going to accept gladness. There are things that will happen to us in life, and some of them are not pleasant, and some of them we can barely live with. And many of them will dominate our spirit and our attitudes. And if allowed, they will drive joy and happiness permanently away. People have been known to allow the events of their lives to drive their life away. We have a choice in life. Abraham Lincoln once said, "A person is about as happy as he makes up his mind to be." The way we approach life can make it wonderful, or we can make it a sorry experience. I find myself in a lot of different situations in life, and I usually find in those situations the people that I'm looking for. If I'm looking for grumpy people, well, I'll find them. If I'm looking for loving And happy people, I'll find them. I've met people to whom every single part of their life is a crisis, a complaint. They spend a lot of energy being unhappy. They take everything way too seriously. It could be, of course, that I don't take some things seriously enough. What I strive for, though sometimes I don't succeed, is reflected in a poster that I have rolled up someplace in my basement. It's a picture of an elephant sitting under a waterfall, and the caption reads, "Life is too important to be taken seriously." Life is serious business, but we can take ourselves and take life too seriously. When things get too crazy, when you are too upset, when you are losing it, the first thing you should do is go and sit under a waterfall. Or if there's no waterfall handy, wash your face with cold water. You'll be amazed at how helpful that is. Ecclesiastes teaches us that there is a time for everything. Sometimes we just concentrate on one thing and we miss all the others. Life is balance. Take the time to keep your life in balance. There is a season and a time for every matter under heaven. A time to be born and a time to die. A time to plant and a time to pluck up what is planted. A time to break down and a time to build up. A time to weep and a time to laugh. A time to mourn and a time to dance. A time to throw away stones and a time to gather stones together. A time to seek and a time to lose. A time to keep and a time to throw away. A time to keep silence and a time to speak. A time to love, a time for war, and a time for peace. Life is about balance. Keep that perspective in mind. We are invited to aim for the big goal in life, a hope-filled and happy life. And as we do, we are mostly able to balance out the sorrow and sadness that will come our way. It is our privilege and our responsibility to light a candle in the darkness and to nurture a song in the night. We are the people of hope. God bless us all. Amen.